Here is a sample green policy statement. Your company may already be doing some, if not all, of these things. The idea here is to share your efforts first inside your company, maybe even including them in the personnel policies you have new employees sign, and then to share the statement with the public. Some companies are beginning to require green statements before they will consider you as a vendor. While many companies have a separate container for papers and returnable bottles and cans, the containers are in several places. Rather than cause more mess and an attraction for pests, put some time into planning where to contain things. Remember that most waste management vendors will not charge for recyclables, so it's a cost-effective program. While healthcare providers have to worry about bloodborne pathogens under OSHA regulations and procedures, almost all businesses from time to time need to get rid of certain biohazards, from old fertilizers to old cans of paint. If you know of a specific and regular biohazard your company needs to process, be sure to discuss it with your waste management vendor and come up with a written policy. For those occasional situations, just call and ask your vendor as it comes up. It seems like all office supply vendors offer recyclable paper. The example shown is 30% recycled, and like any paper product, there are varying degrees of quality, often according to the percentage that's recycled. SeventhGeneration.com is a company specializing in eco-friendly products. They do not sell directly to the public, but it is easy to order their items online through such companies as Target. In this example, we see their recycled toilet paper. Many of the green efforts are really about saving energy. CFL, that is carbon fluorescent lights, will pay for themselves in energy savings within a few months. Because they work at lesser temperatures, they last considerably longer than regular incandescent light bulbs. If you rent an office complex, chances are that you already have programmable thermostats installed and just need to learn to use them. But if you own your own building or in an older complex, it is well worth the $80 to $100 to buy and install a programmable thermostat. In some areas, this will be repaid in energy savings the first month. Remember that it takes a while for the room temperature to change, so it's appropriate to program changes to start a half hour before the end and beginning of business hours. Also be aware of required temperature ranges for your business machines. Many offices already save on energy consumption by limiting work hour heating temperatures to 68 degrees. The suggested limit on cooling temperatures is to not go below 78 degrees. In high sun locations, reflective film on windows really helps with this goal. I've found that my staff works better at 77 than 78 degrees, but the real point is to implement a program that you will stick to. Computers, printers, and monitors use a lot of power. While turning equipment off at night saves power and eliminates access from unwelcome internet intruders, you can also save power during the day by using the power settings. In Vista, you can right-click on the desktop and choose Personalize, or you can go through the control panel to Power Options. If you go through Personalize and Screensaver, you will see blue lettering at the bottom left that says Change Power Settings. There are default power plans you choose from. What it means by power versus performance is that if your computer is turned off, then you have to wait for a time while it boots up and gets back to work. You can customize any of these choices, and because of my work habits, I have the screen closed down sooner than the CPU since it starts up again quickly. But since the computer takes so long to boot, I don't have the machine turn off until after a couple hours. I have a lot of special equipment connected to my computer. You need to decide what is appropriate for the computers in your workplace. If breaks are 15 minutes long, then maybe your computer should power down after 20 minutes. That will be short enough to save power during lunch times, but long enough to have the computers immediately available after breaks. Whether company or employee vehicles, a good mechanic can really help reduce pollutions, and if you know one, share who you use. If enough of your staff will use the same mechanic, Make it easy on everyone and see if they'll come pick up cars on your site. The easier you make it for your staff, the more likely people will keep their cars maintained. Because tax regulations allow companies to write off significant equipment costs each year, even the smallest companies can take what would go to taxes and invest instead in new equipment. That write-off may not be one-to-one, so talk to your CPA about your particular situation. Decide on what is strategic to replace, such as less efficient with better performance and reduced operating cost equipment. For example, this year Kodak released a printer that supposedly uses 50% less carbon. That's both an operational savings and good news to landfills. Many companies have a designated charity to donate older but working equipment. Personally, I donate to the YMCA. Whoever you choose, designate it in writing so people know your affiliations and to promote who you believe in. Non-working electronics can be toxic. You can look up online at mygreenelectronics.com suitable places to accept your old equipment. Don't be surprised if My Green Electronics refers you back to your own waste management vendor. Cell phones go out of style so quickly that many people replace them whenever their service contract rolls over. DonateMyCellphone.org is a non-profit program to recycle your cell phone as an emergency device, especially to those of impaired health and who are isolated. For these people, a 911 service is provided free of charge. Please go to their website and check it out. They will send you a postpaid envelope to mail your phones to them. Although many smaller or new businesses are not aware of the OSHA requirement to keep material data safety sheets, referred to as MSDS, on every cleaning product, it is indeed required, and staff are to be trained to its location and any support equipment required to carry out the procedures outlined. For example, if you have material that can damage the eye, then you need an eye wash station as outlined in the MSDS provided by the manufacturer of the material. It really simplifies your hazard material policies when you use green cleaning products. You and your staff simply are not at the same risk, and that's on top of benefiting the environment in general. The products may cost more, but the ease of OSHA enforcement and safety features should make up for the cost. More and more office supplies are ordered over the internet. What do you do with all the shipping materials such as boxes and styrofoam peanuts? Well, one thing you can do is fold the boxes flat and keep them until you need to make a shipment. Keep the styrofoam and use it the same way. Cross-cut shredders do a great job of destroying old office papers, and you can add that paper with the peanuts for safe shipping. If your goods or services generate leftover installation materials, then you need to address how to create the best recycling process possible. Talk to your waste management vendor. It goes without saying that a paperless document is the most eco-friendly, but be aware that some governing agencies like the IRS requires original documents. The PDF standard created by Adobe is reliable and interchangeable across computer operating systems. If all you're doing is converting scans or word processing files, then you may get by with a simple and free conversion program. You can find free programs like this at download.com. And while you're there, get the free versions of antivirus programs like Avast or AVG, as well as adware for malware. Water issues regarding landscaping are a growing concern. Where I live, sometimes there's too much water for cultivated plants and only native plants do well. In other areas of the country, water for human consumption seriously limits what's available for landscaping. Yet the same answer works. Use native plants or drought-resistant plants. Talk to a nursery business and see what you can save with the right type of plants and containers. Not every business will have outside plants or responsibilities for them, but chances are that even in large business parks, the landscape crews have a compost pile somewhere on the property. Find out if you can have access to it and what they will allow you to add. If your company does have control over the landscaping, Be sure to specify fish-friendly products. Everything we can do to assure clean and acid-free runoff helps. Obviously, there are more things that your company could do. For example, if you generate high heat, like the laundry of a healthcare facility, then installing heat pumps under the fan discharge can be converted to hot water. Or if you can control your energy use times, then schedule your main usage for off-peak hours. Many businesses have a dishwasher for their break rooms. Even opening the door so that the dishwasher air dries instead of using heat saves energy. It's the combination of all the things we do that matters, so be creative and be public, both for public relations and to encourage others. It's your world too.